Alawama Scholars, I am Dr. Yasapa from Zion Law School. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Took me a minute to be able to get a situation that I could do this video today, but I'm here, and so let's begin. Welcome everyone to y'all forgive my book, I gotta get it rebound. It and I got caught in a really terrible storm a couple days ago, and you can see it just ruined. I got to get my book rebound, so y'all forgive the way that looks. All right, looks terrible, but what do they say? As the saying goes, I'm unstoppable. All right. So let me continue. I don't want to print it again because I'll lose all my notes. But anyway, welcome to the free Astrotheology course. This is our 52nd video into the Devil's Pulpit. So y'all should remember this is the second time that I'm doing the Devil's Pulpit, and I'll probably do it a third time when YouTube removes the restrictions from my account, because I'll have a broader reach. More people will be able to see it. And from what I'm told, people usually don't go back and watch your whole library. So going live is better. So my intention is to do it again, but we'll see what the future holds. All right. If I do, I do. If I don't, I don't. Anyway, but let's continue. Our textbook is The Devil's Pulpit. I feel so bad for my book here. Our textbook is The Devil's Pulpit. The author is the Reverend Robert Taylor. All right, there's a free link. There's a link to a free PDF rather in the description area of the video. All right, so y'all make sure y'all go into there and get the book downloaded, print it off, and have it bound, so you can have it physically in front of you, because it will be useful for you to have it physical, okay? Especially for making margin notes, etc. All right? And nothing can and will ever replace reading, especially from a book. All right? You're not going to damage your eyes the way you damage your eyes reading from a cell phone or computer screen. All right, so we're on page 120. Hold on. 125. 125. Yeah, 125. All right, so the last paragraph talked about the Christians who, in their godliness, which is really no godliness at all, right? They won't do anything for anybody. I'm getting this from page 124, the last paragraph, which spills over onto page 125. All right, so I'm not going to do a review. I don't have the energy right now to do a review. So let's move right into the first paragraph on page 125. And Mark 2, the wicked fraud, the cheat, the dishonor of the compact between the man of prayer, that's the regular Christian, right? That's the congregation member, the church member, all right? And the priestcraft class, all right? And the priestcraft class, all right? So it reads here, and Mark 2, the wicked fraud, the cheat, and dishonor of the compact between the man of prayer and his familiar spirit, whom he calls God. Okay, so that term, familiar spirit, comes straight out of the Bible, doesn't it? Whom he calls God, capital G-O-D, Zeus, the Canine stars, Odin, etc., Apollo, Jupiter, Isus, Jesus, etc. This familiar spirit. Y'all got that? Let me read it again. And Mark 2, take note of the wicked fraud. See, it's a wicked fraud because it's intended deceit. The motive is to deceive you. Pisces. The cheat is the Escheat, of your estate. The wicked fraud. Now, hopefully by now, everyone realizes that one of my main objectives, the message that I want to get out, is to abandon religion, escape religion, escape Christianity. It's the mechanism of our demise. It's the mechanism of our being denationalized. What do I say that? I mean, that is, if you remove the Christianity, the problem goes away. That's my point. Okay, now remember, the legal system is the Judeo-Christian legal system. All right? So if you remove the Christianity from that, my opinion is the problem goes away. Because it's the Christianity that is the mechanism of the conquest, which at present is a mental conquest, and it's a conquest primarily a war waged in words. Words. Okay? Words. All right? And Mark 2, the wicked fraud, claiming to have jurisdiction over Moorish sovereigns, when in fact they don't. These are Christians who are doing this, y'all. Right? These so-called politicians, they are in fact Christians. The cheat, the Escheat, the cheating you out of your estate, the fraud, and pretending like they have jurisdiction, and pretending to be judges, pretending to be in all of the other elected offices and positions of power, claiming to have jurisdiction over the land when in fact they don't. And then cheating you out of your estate. Y'all know in Filipino or Tagalog language, they put the S. Like they'll say S this and S that. It's like almost like a prefix. So if you take the cheat and S, you get S cheat. At least in Tagalog. So if they're going to say cheat, they would say S cheat. But they put the S in front of a lot of words. And I'm not saying that that's the case of what's happening here. I'm telling you about my travels and what I've seen and observed in terms of language. Now you should know that the Filipinos are in fact Moors. They've been branded. Was it King Philip who called them Filipinos? Basically, they're the property of King Philip. But I've tried to have this discussion with many Filipinos and they get upset about it. They will argue you down that they're Filipino. They have such a negative view of the Moors because there are moral people in Mindanao and they're still fighting the Catholic Church. Now, whether or not, it's a legitimate fight and not the Catholic Church playing both sides of the hand, that's another story. But the Moro people, the Moors, are still there. And Filipino is a brand that's meant to denationalize the people so that the conquistadors, the Spanish, the U.S. corporation, etc., everyone who's conquered them, so that they could claim sovereignty over the land. Why? Because there's no competent rightful heir. Y'all see what I mean? They're claiming to be property. And of course, property can't own property. But try to have this discussion with the Filipino, with 99.9% of the Filipinos. They have such pride, such nationalism, and also, unfortunately, such ignorance, But it's largely because of the Catholic Church. They present the Moors or the Moro people in such a negative light, and they associate Moro with the Muslim religion. Okay, so with cruelty. All right? So there's the fraud, claiming jurisdiction when there's none, denying people of their due process of law. The Escheat is cheating you out of your estate intentionally. This is also another part of the fraud. Intentionally robbing us of our history, heritage, culture, and nationality. Why? Because if there's no competent heir, everybody's claiming to be an African American, a Christian, a Baptist, a Muslim, all of these type of things that have, they're not nationalities. So it makes you a stateless person. So the motive of that is to steal your birthright. Everybody says, so that's fraud. Because they teach that as though it's fact and true. So it's fraud with the wicked motive, birthright theft. Okay, the objective is to denationalize you and put you in bondage, put you in servitude. All right? So there's the Escheat and the dishonor of the compact. Okay, so they're not honoring the Constitution or the treaty. Okay? This is Christianity. These are the concepts, the principles rather, underlying all of the Christian doctrine for those who are on the inside of the house. See, that's the true meaning. See, they get the true meaning. Where those who are on the outside of the house, y'all get the what? The superficial meaning of the parable. You don't know what that parable means. JC never told you what the parable means. Okay, so you don't know. That's up for the clergy, the inner house, to tell you what it means. Okay? And you get a strict system of morals, morality. That's what you get. That's it. And ethics. All right, that's all you get. So the real meaning or the truth in terms of learning what the real meanings of the mysteries of the kingdom of the God or of God are, that's reserved to the inner house, the secret society members. All right? That's reserved for them so that they can repent and be saved. While you on the outside being Abused. How? How? Through bills of attainder. You're getting hit with bills of attainder. You're getting hit with situations such as traffic violations, mortgage. You know, you got to work, go to work that job. You got to pay the mortgage. You got to pay the utilities. You're getting hit with all of these bills of attainder. But you're not aware that they don't have jurisdiction to do that to you, and you're not aware that it's birthright theft. So this is the wicked fraud, the Escheat, and the dishonor spirit displayed by the deity, the Tetragrammaton, and Jesus, the Christ figure. Okay? I'm not talking about the astrological Jesus. I'm talking about the personified caricature Jesus, who has a made-up history. Okay? And the forked tongue. All right? Okay. Now let's continue. It is of the same nature as the engagement between a quack doctor, listen to this, y'all. It is of the same nature as the engagement of a quack doctor and his hireling patients, whom he engages to put off his nostrils, to swear how bad they were before they took the balm of Gilead, and what wonderful benefits they had experienced from taking it. What is he talking about here? Okay, let's say you got the guy on the corner, the shell game, right? And you notice, you walk by, you see a crowd of people, and everybody's putting up money to try to see who wins, to try to find out where the shell is, so that if they find it, they get paid, right? They get the money. And you watch and you see some people winning. Okay, and then you jump in and you keep playing until all your money's gone. But you were a sucker because everybody there were in on the scam. You thought that if there's a scam, it's the one who's shuffling the what do you call it? The shells. You thought he would be the only scammer, but the whole crowd was in on the scam. Y'all see it? Just like with even modern times, you see a lot of these herbologists on YouTube, and you'll see people who swear that they took the herb concoction that was sold to them by the popular herbalist on YouTube, and it healed them. And so you get your 6, 7, 1,000, 1,500 bones together, and you order the product, expecting to be healed off of the strength of the testimony of that one person who claimed they had some illness, some terrible, incurable illness, or maybe they had 2 or 3 people testifying. But unbeknownst to you, he paid those people to give that testimony. He paid them, or they're all in on the scam together. All right? None of what they said is true. They're all working together to defraud you. You see it? Just like the courts. Just like the courts. Or so-called courts. Claiming jurisdiction. All right? One guy's claiming to be a judge. You got people playing the role of a prosecutor, state's attorney, da-da-da-da-da. Everybody in there, clerk of courts, everybody's in there playing a role. But they're all pretending. All de facto. All. Children and Family Services, state of this, state of that. Everybody's playing a role. It's all a tragedy, a tragic play, right? And they're all colluding to defraud you. Yeah, they're all colluding to defraud you. This is what he's talking about. I hope everyone can understand what I'm saying here. They're all conspiring together to steal your birthright without you knowing it, without you realizing what happened to you. Remember, Christ said he spoke in parables so that although they have eyes and see, they cannot perceive. So you see what's happening, but you don't perceive the danger, and you don't perceive that it's a fraud, and you don't perceive that they don't have jurisdiction over you. You don't even perceive that you are more subject, who could at any moment decide to become a Moorish sovereign. You don't perceive it. Why? Because your eyes are disconnected from your visual center and from nature. You're seeing things that don't exist. In medicine, on the street, we call that crazy. You're seeing things that aren't real, that aren't there. Now, Christ also said, so that you have ears and you hear, but you cannot understand, but that you don't understand right. Not that you cannot, but that you don't understand. So you hear the words that are coming out of the pretend magistrate's mouth. You heard the words that were coming out of the pretend clerk of court's mouth, the pretend state's attorney, assistant state's attorney, the pretend children and family services people. You heard it all, but you don't understand anything. They're speaking to you in a language that you don't understand. And some of the words you've heard before. In fact, you use them, but they have a different meaning, a different definition in the legal system. So although you have ears and you heard, you don't understand. Right? So the linguistics has got you. You don't understand legalese. You don't understand natural law principles. You don't even much know who you is. Right? Okay, so that's what's happening, y'all. And this is all a reflection and imitation of the deity, the Tetragrammaton, Yahuwah, Yahweh, however you want to pronounce it. This is the character of that deity. And also Isus, Jesus today. Basically a scammer. Okay, basically a scammer. I mean, to put it in simple terms, right? Now, if that offends you, you need to do more research. Watch all of these videos that I did on the Devil's Pulpit and the Gospel and the Zodiac. Watch the videos that I've done on the name, the Tetragrammaton. Come to my 506 The Curses course every Saturday at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Okay? So it is of the same nature as the engagement between a quack doctor and his hireling patients. What? It is referring to that religious churchgoer, that priest, pastor, imam, reverend, rabbi, and the deity who he prays to, who is a familiar spirit. So that relationship between you, the devotee, and the deity, the Tetragrammaton, who in this context the author calls it a familiar spirit, is exactly the same as the quack doctor, the snake oil doctor, the modern day herbologist, and his or her pretend patients who claim that they took their herb, their ointment, their whatever, and got healed from some terrible disease. Now, I hope everybody has enough common sense to know that you're not just going to take a herb and be healed from some horrible disease. It doesn't work like that. You're just going to continue doing everything you've been doing and take a herb and it's going to cure you. It doesn't work like that. Okay, there's much more to it than just taking an herb. But that's not what they present to you. Okay? But anyway, let's continue. Okay, so it is of the same nature, an engagement between a quack doctor and his hurling patients. We read this already. Whom he engages to puff off his nostrums, he engages to give a testimony about how his herbs work and healed them, right? To swear how they had been before, they had this illness, they had that illness, before they took the balm of Gilead, and what wonderful benefits. In other words, they got cured after they took the balm of Gilead or his herb. Okay? It is of the same nature as the secret understanding between the auctioneer and the sweeteners, as they're called, who are the bait set in the fool trap to make you believe that the goods are worth 10 times their value. Y'all see that? So that's same as what I was talking about with the shell game, right? Everybody's playing the shell game, okay? But everybody is in on the scam. They're just waiting for you and then another person like you to think that they're not working together, all right? And if you don't make haste, you'll lose all the best bargains that ever were in the world. So that's the carrot, that's the motive, the kingdom of God. If you don't act now, if you don't buy now, if you don't send in, if you don't sow, if you don't sow into the ministry now, then the deity, God, ain't going to do this for you, he ain't going to do that for you, etc., etc., etc. If you don't go to the church now, the next meeting, if you don't go to the mosque, the kingdom hall, now, the next meeting, what if you die tonight or tomorrow? And you die having rejected God. You didn't go when you had a chance to go. Y'all see the mind game? You see the subtle pressure? Y'all see that? The mental arm twisting? Everybody see it? You need to buy now. Act now. Don't wait. Buy now. Okay? All right. So there's the jewel of salvation. So there's the jewel of salvation. For next skin to nothing, there's the pearl of great price going for 6 pence. In other words, Christianity tells you just like a sales relationship. And that was one thing that impressed me in my earlier days. How closely the Christian ministry, the mindset that you need to have in the Christian ministry as a salesman is exactly the same mindset you need to have to be successful as a salesman selling life insurance, stocks and bonds, lawnmowers, whatever. It's the same mindset. And that always impressed me. I thought it was so strange. But at that time, when I realized that I was still young, I was like maybe 20, 21, 22. So I was really just beginning my journey. But immediately I saw that to be a good evangelist, you need to be a good salesman. Right? So sometimes the best evangelist would make the best salesman. All right? So let's continue. So these jewels of salvation, for next skin to nothing, there's the pearl of great price. That's the kingdom of God, y'all. Going for 6 pence. You can get it for nothing. It's free. All you need to do is come to the meetings. Okay? Then you start going to the meetings. Now all you need to do is buy the books. Okay? Now all you need to do is start giving 10%. Now all you need to do is start putting money in on this fund. The new doorknob fund. The new jet plane fund. Right? Now all you need to do is sow into the next project that the church has. See, because you need to sow into God for God to sow into you. Okay? And it's a small price, because what you're going to get? You're going to get the kingdom of God. When you die, you're going to go to heaven. Or you're going to get to go into the kingdom while, on earth. Or God is going to give you 1,000,000-fold more than what you gave him. But you first need to sow into God. All right? And what would it profit a man, say they, should he gain the whole world and lose such a bag full of moonshine, as they'll sell him at the gospel shop? Quote unquote, let us, say they, quote unquote, as newborn babes, desire the sincere milk of the word, that we may grow thereby. Though when we've grown a very little, we begin to perceive that the sincere milk of the word has a devilish blue look. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. You walk into a new religious organization, everybody seems sincere. Okay, it answers questions for you. I'm talking about doctrine. It tells you nothing about nature. You have questions about doctrine and what doctrine means. And this religion, the new one you're going to, right? Especially y'all Christians coming out of churchianity, going into Hebrew Israelitism. They seem to answer a lot of doctrine-related questions. And so you jump right in with a sincere heart. And then you find yourself getting taken advantage of over and over and over again over the years. And then finally you get tired of it. Okay? This is what he's talking about. So that milk has a devilish blue look to it. And that 'tis not the spiritual babes, but the spiritual nurses that get the cream of it. So that's right. You went in there head first. You jumped out of the frying pan into the fire. That's right. You jumped out of churchianity, Christianity, and right into Hebrew Israelitism. Or let me rephrase that. Hebrew Israelite Christianity. You jump right into that. And then you get abused some more. Taken advantage of some more. Robbed some more. The widow's pennies get stolen by the clergy yet again and again and again. And who's doing it? The preacher, the deacon, the pastor, all of them. The ministerial servant, the elder, the rabbi, the imam, all of those who have position and office in these religious organizations are the ones who are taking advantage of you. But they do it in such a way with a smile on the face, and you'll never know it. They may even, I know in the religion that I was in, turned out to be massively a massive amount of childhood RAPE going on. Yeah, pedophilia. All up and down it. Across the world. From what I understand, that organization has been banned in France and other countries. For pedophilia. I heard someone talking about it the other day. I had no idea about it. In fact, they were talking so much about the Catholic Church. Remember when the Catholic Church got exposed in the 80s? Was it 80s or 90s? But they were talking so much smack about the Catholic Church, and then not too many years later, it came out about them. Same thing. They're hiding records, protecting pedophiles. You know? So that's who, and this is at the local level. This is not in the headquarters, at the local level, in the congregations. All right, y'all? And by the way, guess what? A congregation is a constellation. It's a constellation. Any of y'all who know about the JW religion, the truth about it, that should make a lot of sense to you, right? Because they're literally astrotheology, right? I used to wonder, why do they emphasize in their publications, why are they always emphasizing showing these galaxies and stars? Of course, computer-generated images of galaxies, star clusters, cosmic gases. I used to wonder why. But then later, of course, I found out what the deal is. Okay? All right, y'all, let's continue. Let me just say this. So all of y'all, although you are sincere, you think you're drinking the sincere milk for the babes. No, that stuff is toxic. You are being fed toxic religious doctrine. And when you're eating a poison, the best thing to do is stop eating it. Stop consuming the poison. Walk away from it. Walk away from religion. And here, I cannot but glance at a contrivance of those spiritual nurses who dish up the meat for babes at all of our Bible. Let me repeat that. At all our Bible association and Jew converting and gospel propagating societies. When the funds of the society run low and the collection is likely to leave a minus, they always come it with a quote unquote, but my brethren, it's your prayers that the society desires. If you have nothing else to give, you can give us your prayers. It isn't your money that we look for, but your prayers. God, Zeus, forbid that we should think this call dependent on an arm of flesh. Now, this was written, or this sermon was given in 1831, 1931, 2031, almost 200 years later. And these religious people are still running the same game, right? They're asking you to donate, but then at the same time, softening it up. They're not softening it up. They're trying to make you think that it ain't just about the money, right? By saying, well, if you don't have anything else to give, you can just give your prayers. That, in fact, the prayers are more powerful because the project that we're doing is not dependent on money. Why? Because God is behind it. So if you can't give money, you personally, we're still going to get it done because it's not dependent on money. God is behind this. Y'all see the mind, F-U-C-K? Everybody see it? They've been running that play for more than 200 years. And our people are still gullible enough to fall for it. But is it that they're gullible? Not so much that. They don't have, our people don't have any self-respect. We don't have any sense of nationality. Okay? We have no connection at all to nature. We're 2,000% plugged in to religion, external saviors, deities. That's what we're plugged into. Okay? That's why they can pull it over on us. We're not being sent, we have no clue about natural law, constitutional principles that are based in natural law. None. So we are, in fact, as a people, minors. Right? Literally. Big old man, big old woman in an adult body, but in the mind, you got the mind of a child. You don't know anything. See, not the mind of a child in the sense that, like a 2-year-old, you're going to have a temper tantrum, but a lot of y'all do. But it's the mind of a child in the sense that you don't know anything. You don't know how the world works. You're dependent upon your parents. You're dependent upon your conqueror. I hope y'all heard that. You're dependent upon your conqueror. As per Deuteronomy 28. You have to depend on your enemy for everything. That's called being a minor. All right? That's also called being what? Can you be a mature man or woman, but yet have the mind, the state of mind of a child? Absolutely not. You cannot be. So you're at that state, you're like an animal. I'm just being honest with you. You don't use your intelligence. So what's the difference between you, who has intelligence but won't use it because you're indifferent and lazy? You've been socialized and conditioned to be indifferent and lazy and sit back and wait for external deity to do something for you. Y'all see how this detaches you, decouples you, or uncouples you from nature? Y'all see it? What's the difference between you and that state of mind and a cow that has very limited intelligence? It can't respond, it can't do anything, right? What's the difference between it and you? Not much. That's how they see it, okay? And so therefore, you become what? You become their meal. When they want something, they go out there and milk your nipple. Okay, they go out there and exterminate your heir, your kinfolk. Right? Put them on the grill. Just like a farm animal. All right? You're useless, expendable. Why? Because you refuse to use your intelligent mind. You refuse to use your intelligent mind to do what? Learn who you are, which means nationality. Nationality and birthright. And then enforcing your rights. If you don't do that, well, you're just a farm animal. But most of y'all are even scared to enforce your rights. You're afraid because you think they're going to give you mercy if you sit back and be a chump, a punk. You think they're going to have mercy on you, but no. That ain't how it works. First of all, force respects force. Y'all heard? Force respects force. How many bullies have you seen have mercy on a wuss? No, the bully is looking for wusses. But how many bullies have you seen take a beat down or run away from somebody who's not afraid of them? Same concept. And then that bully leave them alone. I remember when I was younger, a couple people tried to bully me, and because I was skinny, had a baby face and all of that, wasn't tall at that time, I had to beat up a lot of bullies. A lot. And they were always bigger than me, much bigger than me. But after a while, I gained a reputation, and the bullies left me alone. They all left me alone. All right? So anyway, same concept, or same principle rather. Now y'all, let's continue. Ah, there, say the babes and sucklings of the gospel. There's disinterestedness for you. In other words, they're not after your money. They're not interested in your money. They're interested in furthering God's kingdom. Where will you find infidels that will act from such disinterested motives? In other words, that gains the trust of the churchgoer that claim that they're not after the money and that God will make it happen even without their money. You just pray. Okay, so we've been going for this. We've been falling for this dupe for a long time. I'd give them a shilling if 'twas the last I had in the world, because I see that they are not greedy. Y'all see that? You see the duplicity? They're feigning to be not greedy, but in fact, they're greedy as hell. They're so greedy that they want to rob you and cheat you out of your birthright. Rob you and cheat you out of everything, including your essence, your life force. Including your life force. No love Rome writes high. Including your life force. Including exterminate your heirs, your kinfolk. They have absolutely no mercy. These are Christians, y'all, who go into people's houses with a unsigned warrant. And then exterminate a 5, 4, 3, 2, 6-year-old feminine heir. And they walk away scot-free. Walk away scot-free. Why? Because you're civilly dead. You're under the jurisdiction of the Dogon, the black codes, the Christian canon, corporate maritime admiralty law jurisdiction. So they do whatever they want to and for and with their property. So if you're a Moorish subject, you ain't got nothing coming because you're detached from nature and you are in dishonor by being in religion. That's right, let me say it again. You are in dishonor by being in religion, worshiping these external deities. You're going against the Most High's commandments, which are natural law. Period. You're in the jurisdiction of the Dogon, or Anis, the Raphaim, right? Those departed spirits. Y'all know what I'm talking about? All right, let's continue. YA. And they see too that when once, they can make a man fool enough to prattle to the skylarks, there's a good chance that he'll be fool enough for anything. So if you believe that, if you believe they're asking you for money, but they don't need the money because God will do it for them, then you'll believe anything. Why? Because if God is going to do it for them, why do they need to ask you for money in the first place? Yeah, in the first place. Right. So here might be the reason from a Christian, because God want to see if you're going to give your money. God want to see if you're going to sow into Him. See, hope everybody can see that that's ridiculous, right? That's crazy. Ridiculous reasoning. It's illogical. That's what I mean. It's illogical. Let me put it like that. Page 126. An honest prayer is all I ask for. Produce me one single instance of an honest prayer. And then I'll say, quote, "'Tis possible that a man who says his prayers may be an honest fool." I'm ready to get off of this topic, y'all. This is the kind of reading I can tolerate one or two, maybe three sentences of sarcasm and all of that. But it's really not my personality. I don't enjoy sarcasm. That's why I don't enjoy. I can read an autobiography and enjoy it. My thing is more like, I like technical writing. I like to read technical books. My personality. Science, medicine, dictionaries, lexicons, textbooks. That's my thing. That's why I can read a book like this and enjoy it. I can read a dictionary or a lexicon and actually enjoy it. But you sit me down with a novel, I'm not very interested at all. I know many people read Star Wars. They read books like Harry Potter, fantasy, what the genres, fantasy, mystery. There's a couple other, I don't remember. I'm not interested in that. But anyway, let's continue. But when I see contrivance, trick, and management between God and man, y'all hear that? But when I see contrivance, when we look at the Constitution for the United States of North America and the Treaty of Peace and Friendship between the Al-Moroccan Empire, the United States of North America, 1836. When we look at that, we see something about contraband. Taking contraband on your vessel. I'm here to tell y'all, think very closely about whether worshiping external deities, being in these religions, or even the state of mind where you're worshiping an external deity, is that contraband? Well, I haven't done it, but the author has already shown you. The author has already shown you that Christianity is a hoax. That's for one thing. Now, what I have shown you is that worshiping external deities is a violation of nature. But I didn't make it up. It's right there in the book of the law. In fact, you just go to Exodus chapter 20. It says clearly, the Most High says, don't bring another power before my face, etc., 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 etc. But yet, all of y'all, not all, but the vast majority of us are bringing these external powers before the Most High's face. You go sit up there in church, you go listen to your gospel music or your Hebrew Israelite gospel music. You go in your camp or door-to-door ministry, street corner work, whatever you want to call it. You bring these external deities before the Most High's face. So who is the Most High? Who is God? How about that? How about that, y'all? How about Psalms 82:6? All of you are gods, sons, and sons with the womb. Now, I paraphrase that. Of the Most High. We talked about the Hermetic laws, masculine mental energy, the silent observer that exists outside of your fleshly body that observes you. The me, the fleshly body, the me is your subconscious mind. Me, as in my desires, my fears, my likes, my passions, my pains. Me. My shoes, my socks, my laptop, my cell phone. Me, my thoughts, my interpretation, my perception, my understanding or lack thereof. Me in the physical body. But yet the I sits back and watches and observes what me is doing and what me is thinking and what me is feeling. And I can judge me. It sounds crazy, right? But y'all know what I'm talking about. There's the me, and then there's the I who may give you some commentary on what you're thinking and how you're feeling. That I is external to the physical body. The I is the great I am, the I be, the I exist. Right? That's your Strong's number H 1961. The root of the Tetragrammaton. The great I am, I be, I exist, the Alpha and the Omega. Huh? The Alpha and the Omega, the first and the last, not subject to birth and not subject to death. Always has been, always will be. Does not change. The Most High don't change, does he? But if you have intelligence, you would know that the Most High is a concrete way of talking about creative energy. In religion, y'all call it deity. When I say creative energy, how can I best explain this? Let me not call it creative energy. Let me call it awareness and intelligence. All intelligence, all creativity, all right, all awareness. The Most High, right? Because during the day you look up in the sun, at 12 o'clock. That's the highest it goes. That's the highest thing you can see. So the sun is the Most High. It's just a concrete way of expressing that. Or hermetically, as in the Hermetic laws, it might be called spirit. Spirit, hermetically, or as defined according to the Hermetic scholars, spirit, oh, am I? My battery is running low, y'all. Hold on. Spirit equates to mind. All right? But anyway, let me keep going. I got like 5% on my battery, so I want to keep going. So my point is that all of us are gods. All of us are all awareness, all intelligence, okay, all consciousness, mind. We know that because we know that what? We are thought made manifest from the soil into flesh. Thought is mind. We all are tuned in at different frequencies to the mass consciousness. All right? That's why when you see me, you see yourself, and when I see you, I see myself. Where am I? Oh, okay. But when I see contravance, trick, and management, y'all see that? Trick, treachery, fraud, contraband, right? Things you know you're not supposed to be doing commerce with or dealing in commerce with, according to law. And management, okay, in other words, it's not just a one-time thing. There's a whole system in place to manage denationalizing and escheating you, to manage the attornment of your property, okay? Between God and man. So he's acknowledging everything that I've been saying. Christianity, this is the God. And man, that's the Christian. The Christian at the lowest level, congregation member to the highest level. The Pope, the clergy, all right? It's all contraband, contraband's trick and management to steal the birthright, to shorten your lifespan. All right, to take your property and give it to a foreigner. When I see the man who puts himself under the protection of omnipotence, puts himself under the protection of the God, under Zeus, putting omnipotence, the tetragrammaton, Zeus, Jesus, Isus, under his protection in turn, right? See, the clergy has to protect the deity. Why does a clergy need to get mad and defend the deity? If the deity is almighty, he don't need no help. He don't need you to get mad at me or to come after me. No, that's just your BS excuse, right? Because I'm messing up your game, your hustle, your free ride. And that the bargain between them, the bargain between the deity and the Christian, is if you'll serve me, says the deity, I'll serve you. How? How? Jesus told you. He'll keep you dumb. Okay? Though you have eyes to see, you won't perceive. Though you have ears to hear, you won't understand. Jesus will do that to you through religious dogma. Through religious dogma. Jesus serves those who are on the inner house, who are the secret society members. Jesus delivers the Moors. Delivers the Moors. Genesis chapter 2, verse 7. Those of us who are sprung from the soil, delivers the Moors into the hands of the Christians. All right? Now, there's an image I told y'all about Jesus as a giant standing. His feet are in the ocean, and the clouds are about shoulder length. He's got his hand stretched out with the face of a Moor in his hand, the palm of his hand. And then John, the Revelator, the Apostle John, is reaching up with something that appears to be a bill. Maybe it's a purchase order, purchase receipt. I have no idea. Maybe he's paying for them on credit. But it's not a scroll. It's not scripture, because that would be in the form of a scroll. No. He's giving him something to the effect that I'm buying this. I'm buying this more. Christ is giving the more to the Christian, to the religious people. Okay? So here we have the Moors being shipped out of their natural status as an heir, rightful heir, on the good ship Jesus, into bondage and civil death, into Christianity, into maritime Admiralty law. Notice that Jesus is standing in the water. He's standing in the ocean. Maritime Admiralty law. There's no coincidence that he's standing in the water and that he's a giant. Raphaim. Anyway, let's continue. You get me out of my scrapes, and I'll get you out of yours. Y'all got that? Secret society members get their brothers out of the crimes that they commit and have innocent people punished for those crimes. And then these secret society member Christians will continue preaching and teaching to attract more people into the church, more victims to be taken advantage of. Okay? So that the deity is always being venerated. That's the back and forth he's talking about. What can I think but that the man is more knave than fool, and that if Zeus were anything more than a figment of the man's conceit, there are but two knaves laying their heads together, two crooks